So we have already learned different types of data type, right? Now the next thing that we are going to learn is that how many bytes this data type takes in the memory space, and what are the maximum or minimum number that you can store in each and every type of data type. Okay, because depending on the number of bytes it takes in the memory space, you can represent a certain range of numbers. Okay, so for example, integer in a 64-bit CPU takes 64 byte. Okay, and based on this 4 byte, I am going to show you that what is its range of numbers. Okay, that you can store. Now, other than integer, there is another data type called short integer that takes 2 byte with limited range. And if you want to increase the range, there are long integers that takes 8 byte, which is a higher range. Okay, character takes 1 byte, so that's why it has very shorter range. And float and double takes 4 byte and 8 byte. Okay, so that's why float gives lower precision, 8 gives higher higher precision for any fractional numbers. Clear? So for example, from this table you can understand that if you want to represent 10 to the power minus 100, okay, 10 to the power minus 100 is very small, but 10 to the minus 100 cannot be represented using float. You need to use double. Okay, so double provides much higher precision. Clear? Okay, so in this class I'm not going to go through float and double its range, all right, because whenever we are going to learn floating point representation, we are going to go into detail of float and double. Okay, in this class I'm going to cover this data type integers, its variation like short int, long int, and character. Okay, so I'm going to write a program, and by showing the output I'm going to show you how many bytes each and every data type takes and what is their corresponding range. Okay, so let's see. Okay, all right, so let's take an integer in I equal to print value of I is the, okay, the value of I is 12, which is pretty simple. Now let's see what is the size of I. Size of I means how many bytes it takes in the memory space. So the size of I is 70 bytes. So you've already learned the size of function, right? And I have already told you that inside the size of function, whatever you are going to pass, it will return the number of bytes that entity takes in the memory space, right? So in the last class, I have shown you that if you pass an array, then it will return the number of bytes that array takes in the memory space. Clear? Similarly, if you pass size of I, that means it is going to return how many bytes it takes in the memory space. Clear? So again, it is giving a warning. So for the timing, ignore that warning. I'm going to resolve all these warnings in a minute. Okay. So the size of I is 4 byte. Okay, that means it is taking 4 bytes in the memory space. Okay. So if you come to this table also, integer takes 4 byte in a 64-bit CPU. Okay. So my CPU is 64-bit. All right. So integer is indeed taking 4 byte. Okay. So it is matching with the table. Now let's see what is the maximum and minimum number that you can represent using integer. Okay. So let's see. The minimum and maximum that you can represent is person B and person. So there is already some defined constants that stores the maximum and minimum value of an integer. Okay. Those corresponding functions or corresponding constants are called int min, int max. Int min and int max are already some defined constants by your compiler that will give you the minimum and maximum value of an integer. And all these variables are stored in header file limits.h. Limits.h is a header file that stores all these constants. Okay, so if you want to use this constants, you need to include limits.h. Let's see what is the minimum and maximum value that it is. So the minimum and maximum value is minus 2147483648 and 2147483647. Okay, so if you match with this table, this is exactly matching whatever the number is there. Clear? Okay. Now I'm going to show you why using 4 byte, this is the minimum and this is the maximum number that you can store. What is the connection between 4 byte and this two? Clear? Now before going to that, let me tell you that instead of size of I, you can also write size of int. Okay. So this will also give you the same thing. So this inside the size of function, you can either pass the data type or you can pass the variable. Okay, both will give you the number of bytes that particular data type or that particular variable takes in the memory. Okay. All right. Now let me mathematically show you that why this minimum and this maximum number is coming when the size of an integer is 4 byte. Okay. So as I said, whenever you are writing int I, it is basically taking 4 byte. Right. So 4 byte means 32 bits. Right. Okay. That means whenever you are writing integer I in the memory location, 32 bits are getting stored. Right. All right. Now using integer, you can represent both positive numbers or negative numbers. Right. So that means one of these 32 bit is used to represent the sign. Right. So it is used to represent plus or minus. So whenever it is plus, this bit is 0. Whenever it is minus, this bit is 1. All right. The remaining 31 bits are used to represent the value. Okay. Now tell me, using 31 bits, how many different numbers you can represent? So using 2 bits, how many numbers you can represent? You can represent 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. That means you can represent 4 numbers. Right? Using 3 bits, you can represent 8 numbers: 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So total 8 numbers you can represent. Right? So how these 4 and 8s are coming? If I give you 2 bits, in this 2 bit position, in each of these 2 bit position, you can either fill up with 0 or 1. Right? So that means first place you can fill up with 2 different ways. Second place also you will fill up with 2 different ways. So total of 2 into 2, which is great. If I give you 3 spaces, you can use the third space also, fill up the third space also with 2 bits. So that means 2 into 2 into 2, which is 2 cube or 8. Clear? So using 31 bit, you can represent 2 to the power 31 different numbers, right? Okay. So 2 to the power 31 different numbers. That means what is the range? What is the range? So using 4 numbers, using 2 bits, you can represent numbers from 0 to 3. That means 0 to 2 square minus 1. Right? Because to represent 0, you need to use 1 bit pattern. Okay? 1 bit pattern you need to use for representing zeros. So ultimately you will get 2 to the power 0 to 2 to the power 2 minus 1. Right? This is the range of numbers that you can represent using 2 bits. Similarly, for 3 bits, you can represent from 0 to 7. That is 0 to 2 cube minus 1. Right? So using 2 to the power, using 31 bits, you can represent numbers from 0 to 2 to the power 31 minus 1 in the positive direction. Okay. Now in the negative direction, you basically the sign bit will be inverted. So you will start with minus 1, minus 2, and ultimately you will go to 2 to the power 31, minus 2 to the power 31. Okay, not minus 2 to the power 31 minus 1, because here you are wasting one pattern for 0, right? In the negative side, that is no 0. You are starting with minus 1. So that means you are not losing one bit, extra bit pattern. So we can go until minus 2 to the power 31. Clear? So using the integer data type, the minimum value that you can represent is minus 2 to the 31. The maximum value that you can represent is 2 to the power 31 minus 1. Okay. So then let's see. Let's calculate what is the value of minus 2 to the 31 and 2 to the 31 minus 1 quickly. So minus 2 to the power 31. Sorry. Is minus 2147483648. Okay, that means you are getting minus 2147483648 until plus 2147483647, because plus side is this minus 1. So this is basically the range of numbers that you can represent using an integer. Okay. So this is the exact number that you are getting from your program also. Okay. And using the same logic, I'm going to show you what is the range of other data types that was there in the table. Clear? Okay. Now sometimes you do not need this much of range. Okay. So for example, you know that because of whatever reason, the variable that you are using, it will only take values in between minus 1000 to plus 1000. Okay. It will not take more than 1000 in the positive side and less than minus 1000 in the negative side. So for that kind of scenario, using an integer to represent this many numbers is a waste of memory, right? So from those kind of scenarios, you may use a short integer that will only take 2 bytes of memory, but with limited range. But if that limited range is sufficient to represent minus 1000 to plus 1000, you should be okay. All right. So let's initialize a short int. And let's check its size. Size short int is size of So again, for the time, ignore this warning because this is the same warning that is repeated. Okay. So here it is saying that the size of a short int is 2 byte. Okay. So 8 bytes. The size of a short int is 2 byte. Here, which is also matching. And again, instead of size of, SI, you can write size of short int. Okay. So this is also giving 2. Right? And also instead of short int, you can only write short. That should be fine as well. Okay. Short means short. All right. Now let's see this range of numbers. Minimum and maximum number that you can represent is person B and person. So the corresponding constants are SHRT short, mean, SHRT max. Short, mean, and short max. Let's see its range of numbers. So it is saying that minus 32768 to plus 32767. Alright, which is also matching with this table. Okay. So how this number is coming, minus 32768 to minus plus 32767, is very simple after you have learned that previous logic. Okay. So here you can see that it is taking 2 bytes. 2 byte means 16 bit. Right. Now among the 16 bit, 1 bit you are representing for the sign bit. Right. So the remaining 15 bit you are representing for the value. So with 15 bit, what is the range of number that you can write? Minus 2 to the power 15 to plus 2 to the power 15 minus 1. Right? So let's quickly calculate. Minus 2 to the power 15 is minus 32768. Okay? And plus side you will get 1 less. So 3276. Clear? So this is also matching. Okay. Now let's see a different type of data type. Suppose we have learned that in integer, the maximum number that you can represent is 2147483647. Okay. Now suppose I want to use a number that is more than this. That means 2147483648. Suppose that is more than this. Okay. So what will happen? If you run this, you will see that you are getting a number that is not 2147483648. It is something different. Okay, because this number is not in the range of an integer, so it is giving an overflow error. Okay, so this number you cannot represent using an integer, but suppose I need to use this number or something more than that. So in that case, I cannot use integer, I need to use long int. So here I can write that. Let's check how many bytes it takes in the memory space. So size of long is 8 bytes. Size of long. This is giving the same warning for the time. Ignore this. So the long int takes 8 byte. Okay, instead of 4 byte in the integer, it takes 8 byte. That means its range is much longer. Okay. And again, instead of long int, you can simply write long. Okay. So this will also give you the same result. Now let's see what is this range of numbers. Minimum and maximum number that you can represent is %. So the corresponding constants are long, mean, and long max. Okay. Long mean and long max. All right. So let's run it and check. So now it is saying that minimum and maximum number that you can represent is 0 and minus 1. Okay. So that means there is a trouble. So here I am using person B and person D. Right? So person D is a placeholder for an integer which has a range of this. Okay. Now if I want to represent long mean and long max whose range is much longer than the range of an integer, I cannot use person D because this is expecting an integer. This is not an integer. This is beyond the range of an integer. Clear? So for that, I need to use LD. LD means long integer. It's a placeholder for long integer. Clear? So now we will see that we will get some really long number 92233 something 808. Okay, and this is also matching minus 92233 something 828 to 92233 up to 827. Okay, so this is matching with the table also. So let's see whether this number is also making sense. So 8 byte means 64 bit, right? And use the same logic among the 64 bit, you can reserve 1 bit for a sign. The remaining 63 bit you are using for representing the value. Okay. So using 63 bit, what is the minimum number that you can represent to your 63? 9.223372 into 10 to the power 8, right? So here also it is say that 9223372. So up to this number it is matching. And this is also matching with our intuition. Clear? Okay. So in this way you can check the range of a long integer. Now let's come to the, so whenever you are compiling this program, it was giving 3 warnings. Now let's come to this warning. Okay. So here if you notice, all these warnings are coming in the size of function. All these 3 warnings are coming in the size of function. So what the warnings is saying? Warning is saying that person D expected argument type integer, but argument T has a type long unsigned int. So what it is saying is that size of function is basically returning a long integer instead of just an int. Okay, size of function is provided by your compiler, and it by default returns a long integer. All right, so that's how it is expecting LD instead of %. This is the same warning that it is showing in all these 3 size of function. Okay, so if I just represent or replace all this %d into LD, you will see that you can get rid of all these warnings. Now it is working perfectly. Clear? Okay. Now let's see. So we have learned int, short int, and long int. Now let's go to the character. Okay, so character takes 1 byte. All right. So again, character we have learned that it is used for storing character data type A, B, C, something like that. But in a computing system, there is nothing like A, B, C or all these things, right? Everything is represented using some numbers, and that number, that corresponding number, is linked to some characters. So let's character C equal to say 77. Okay. Now typically we write character C equal to within first quote A, B, something like that. But basically, as I said, that there is nothing like ABC. ABC is related to some noun. Okay. So using character also, you can store some values. Okay. So let's see. If I print the value of each percentage, let's see, the value of C is 77. Okay. So the value of C is 77. So using character also, you can represent an integer. Alright. But if you, instead of %d, if you write %c, it will print a character. The character is %c. So if you run this program, it is I printed the same thing. I printed the value of C, but once I have written %d, once I have written %c. I've already changed the placeholder. So now it is printing character. Okay, the value is 77. And the character is M, capital M. So let's see what's happening. So in computing system, the characters are represented using their ASCII value. Okay. Characters are all represented using the ASCII. Okay. So ASCII is the abbreviation of American Standard Code for Information Intelligence. Okay. So if you go to this ASCII table, we will see that all the different characters, okay, not necessarily alpha or numeric characters, there are other different characters. All these different characters are represented using some value. So this is called the ASCII value of this corresponding characters. So let's see here, I have written 77. So what is the character that corresponds to ASCII value 77? If you go look at this table, 77 corresponds to character M. Okay, 77 corresponds to character M, and that's how we are getting M corresponding to the value 77. Okay, let's check. A corresponds to value 65, right? So if you replace 77 with 65, you will see that you are getting an A. Clear? Okay. Now let's see what is the size of a character. So okay, size of is again giving this warning. So let's replace this by LD. So the size of a character is 1. That means it takes 1 byte. So okay, here also you can see that it is taking 1 byte. And, minimum and maximum. Char, min, alright. So it is saying that the minimum and maximal is minus 128 to plus 127. Okay. Minus 128 to plus 127, which is also matching with the corresponding range. Okay. And this is very simple because using 1 byte means 8 bit. 1 bit is reserved for the integer, the remaining 7 bits is reserved for the value. So in the negative side, you will get minus 2 to the power 7. So 2 to the power 7 is, you can calculate by hand, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. And 64 into 2 is 128. Okay, so 2 to the power 7 is 128. The positive side, you will get 1 less. So it is very simple. Okay, all right. Now let's see. So we have seen that all these numbers or all these data types represents both negative numbers and positive numbers. Okay? All these types represent both positive and negative numbers. Now there are several occasions where we do not need to represent negative side. Okay. So suppose I am dealing with the number of students in this university, which may be few thousands, right? But number of students are never going to be negative. So I do not need to worry about the negative side of a data type. Right? So for those kind of situations, C provides an unsigned version of all these data types. Okay. So for example, you can write unsigned int. Unsigned int means it will take exactly the same space of an integer. It will take 4 bytes, but instead of representing range in the negative side, it will increase the range in the positive side. Okay. Instead of representing negative numbers, it will only represent positive numbers, but it can enhance the range in the positive side. Yeah. Let's see its range of numbers. So the size of signed into %d, size of, you can either write uy or unsigned int, anything is fine, and let's use ld. So you can see that the size of an unsigned int is also 4 byte. Okay, so unsigned int and int both takes 4 byte, but unsigned means it is only positive. Okay, so let's see the range of numbers. Minimum and maximum value of unsigned is. The minimum value is 0. Minimum value of an unsigned number is 0. The maximum value is uint max. Unsigned int max. Okay. If I run it, we can see that this is also giving a trouble. The maximum number is giving something that is not expected. And the reason is the same. I have used %d. %d is a placeholder for an int. Okay. So the maximum number, as I am only representing positive side, the maximum number is going beyond the range of an int. Okay. So corresponding to the unsigned int, the placeholder is %u. %u means unsigned. Okay. So instead of %d, you need to use %u. %u stands for unsigned. Now you will see that 4294967295. So this is almost double the range of an integer, because you are reserving the bit pattern only for the positive numbers. That's why we are getting more range. Clear? And here also you can calculate this similar to the integer. In this case, there is no sign bit, so entire 32 bit is you are representing for integer. That means you will get a range of 0 to 2 to the power 32 minus 1. Okay, so 2 to the 32 minus 1 is 2 to the power 32 minus 1 is not the minus 2 to the 32 minus 1 is 4294967295. Okay, 4294967295. Clear? So basically, you can write the unsigned version of all these different data types if you want to consider only the positive part of it. Okay. All right. Now the point is that whenever you are writing a program, sometimes you may get some errors if you are dealing with very large numbers. If you are dealing with small number, it's fine. If you are dealing with very large number, then you may get some trouble if those numbers are getting out of range. Okay, so sometimes your program logic is fine, but if you try to debug it, you always need to remember that somewhere you may miss the range that particular data type is providing. Okay. Okay, so let's now move to the next topic, which is working with different types of operators. Okay, so let's okay. So suppose you have three integers, int a equal to say 10, int equal to 20, C equal to 30. Right? And then int B equal to say A plus B multiplied by C. So if I print the value of B, what is going to be the output?
Would it be 610?
610, right? Why? The purpose of showing this is that here you have two operator, plus and multiplication, right? But you know from math that multiplication has higher precedence than plus, right? That means first B multiplication C is going to be computed. So 20 into 30 is 600 plus 10, 610. Okay. So if you compile this program, okay, you'll see that the value of D is 610. Okay. So the point that I want to make is that if there is multiple arithmetic operator, you need to take care of the precedence. So this is a very simple example from your school math that multiplication is of higher precedence than plus. Okay. But other than these operators also there are multiple other operators that you need to deal with. Okay. So here I have listed out a number of different operators in C. Okay. So as you can see that multiplication and division has higher precedence than addition and subtractions. Okay. For all the other different operators, as you move down to the table, the operator precedence starts reducing. Okay. That means highest one, for example, if you have within a bracket, it has the higher precedence. If something is within a bracket, it will get higher precedence. Okay. Then these operators, then multiplication, product, then addition, subtractions, then other operators. So as you move down the table, the precedence decreases. Yeah. So here you can see that product is getting higher precedence. So this is equivalent to writing A plus within bracket B multiplied by C. Yeah. If you want to compute this addition operation first, then you need to use bracket. If you use bracket, then A plus B will be computed first. That means 10 plus 20 is 30. And then 30 will be multiplied by 3, multiplied by C, which is also 30. That means 30 into 30 is 900. Okay. But if you do not use any bracket, that means this needs to be computed ahead of time. Okay. Now let's say int E is, so let's make things a little bit complicated slowly. So the value of E equal to percent P and C equal to percent. Okay. So can anyone tell me what is the output of this? Let's see. You can see that E equal to 30, C equal to 31. So C plus plus, and then you are writing plus plus after C. Okay. So C plus plus is a postfix operator. You need to understand this. C plus plus is a postfix operator. Okay. That means first the assignment will take place and then C will be incremented by 1. Postfix operator means first the assignment will take place, next C will be incremented. So this means first the assignee will be assigned to C and then C will be incremented. These two statement is kind of merged in this one statement. E equal to C plus plus means first E will be assigned to C and then C will be incremented to 1. So that's why first E is assigned to C, first C is assigned to E, that means 30 is assigned to E. So E equal to 30 and then C has incremented from 30 to 31. Now let's see. Instead of writing E equal to C plus plus, if I write E equal to plus plus, what is going to be the answer? Both will be 31. Why? Because plus plus C is a prefix operator. Okay, C plus plus is a postfix operator, plus plus C is a prefix operator. Prefix operator means first the increment will take place, then the assignment will take place. Okay, in the previous example, first the assignment was taking place, next the increment was taking place. Here first the increment will take place, next the assignment will take place. Okay, so first C++ will be computed, and then C will be assigned to E. So plus first C will be incremented from 31, next this 31 will be assigned to E. Okay, now let's make the example a little bit complicated. So let's come to this example. A plus B multiplied by C. If I am writing A plus B multiplied by C plus plus, then what is going to be the value of B and C? Let me comment this out. So as I said, this is a postfix operator. That means first the value will be assigned, and next the increment will take place. That means first the previous value of C will be assigned. That means B equal to A plus B multiplied by C, and next C will be incremented to 1. That's it. Okay, so using the previous value of C, B is going to be 16. Next C will be incremented to 30. Okay, so D is 16, 3 is 31. Clear? Now let's see. Suppose I'm writing int B is equal to A plus B multiplied by plus plus. Then what is going to be the output? So here it's a prefix operator. That means first the increment will take place, and then D will be, that modified value of C will be used to compute D. A plus B multiplied by C. Okay, so C will be incremented to 31, and then 31 into 20 is 620. 620 plus 10 is 630. We get 630 and 31. Okay, let's take another similar example. Say int n equal to 10, I, for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, in the value of n is percent %d, n plus plus. So it will print from 10 to 14, because first the assignment will take place. That means first 10 will be assigned, 10 will be printed in the first line, then it will be incremented to 11. Next time 11 will be assigned, next 11 will be incremented. Clear? And in the opposite side, if I just use plus plus n, at this point it should be very clear to you. If it is plus plus n, that means first 10 will be incremented to 11 and will be printed. So it will print from 11 to 15. Okay, it will be printed from 11 to 15. All right. Okay. Now let's see. So suppose I is equal to, suppose J is equal to say 10. I'm writing J plus equal to 20. Okay. This plus equal to operator I think you have used in other languages also, just for the sake of completeness. If I print the value of J, what is going to be the output? J plus equal to 20, 30, right? Because plus equal to means J equal to J plus 20, right? This you must have used in other languages. Plus equal to means J equal to J plus 20. So 10 plus 20 is. Okay. So J is 30. So instead of plus equal to, you can write minus equal to, star equal to, divided equal to. Okay. So all this means J equal to J, that particular operator, the constant. All right. Okay. So all these different types of operators you will find over here. Okay. Now all these operators I cannot cover in today's class, but gradually whenever we are going to make progress, we are going to learn all these different operators. Okay, so this plus equal to, minus equal to, multiplication equal to, all these things are the lowest distance. Okay, now you will see that these two operators are called logical and logical or. Okay, ampersand is logical and logical, and single ampersand and single bar means it is bitwise and bitwise or. Okay, logical and logical or, this is bitwise and bitwise. Okay, so bitwise and means, suppose I'm giving you two number 10 and 14, it is going to do and bit by bit. Okay, and then what is going to be the answer? It is going to be some integer, right? Logical and means it is going to either return true or false. Okay, it will follow the Boolean logic, the truth table. Okay, so it is going to return true or false, or one, or say true means one and false means zero. Okay, so let's take some example of logical and the logical or. So say int f equal to 5 less than 2 and 3 less than equal to 6. So value of f is, okay, so what is going to be the output? False or 0. Okay, why? First of all, there are three operators, less than equal to, and, right? So which one you need to compute first? Go to this table. You will see that less than equal to, all these have higher precedence than and. This thing you first need to notice. Okay, these operators have higher precedence than this. That means these two operations will be computed ahead of and. 5 less than 2, is this true or false? 5 less than 2 is false. That means you will get a false or 0. And 3 less than equal to 6 is true. So 0 and 1. In the truth table, if you remember the truth table of and will be true if both of the propositions are true, right? So 0 and 1 is 0. 0 and 1 is 0. Okay? If I replace this by or, what is going to be the output? 0 or 1 is going to be 1. Okay, so in this way you can basically work on different types of operators, including arithmetic operator and logical operators. Okay, and whenever it comes to various types of operator, you need to remember the precedence. Okay.